we got him on a special occasion here. We were able to convince him to join us.
Oh, and we get to see his smiling, happy, handsome face.
There he is.
Oh,
there he is.
Talking about offensive guard. And by the way, it looks like you're growing in the gray Zabel mustache there, or you got the goatee going.
Dude, the goatee is strong, but it's not as strong as Zabel's mustache. I would have drafted him in the first round based on his mustache alone, without ever actually looking at any film. I would have just seen that stash and go, "That's my kind of guy. Let's take him. Let's take him with the first round."
And then there's another guy, Robbie Oots, that's got a strong mustache, and he's got the Kentucky waterfall going, and it's
all right.
Good fashion.
We've already won the draft. The Seahawks have won the draft based on mustaches alone.
What'd you think of Gray Zabel?
Listen, I like the kid. It's interesting. You go back and watch, and obviously people talk about small school and and not elite level competition and all that garbage. And I came from a small school without elite level competition. The kid just can play, and he's really good, not only on line of scrimmage, but second level stuff, really good, keeping his feet moving, all that kind of stuff. And then you go back, and one of the things I did, because I knew I was coming on the show and we're going to talk, I went back and looked at all the Senior Bowl practice stuff.
Yeah.
And so I want to see what he did Senior Bowl wise. And he moved from guard to center to guard in the Senior Bowl and absolutely dispensed justice. I mean, I thought he was great. He was in front of guys. He locked guys up on the line of scrimmage. There was no backing down. There was no intimidation. There was none of that, small school guy. He came in there and gave him a mouthful on every rep. So, that stuff bodes well. And the fact that he played multiple positions, and he was flipping up and down the line of scrimmage, and guys were like, I want that guy, because he was having such a good Senior Bowl. And he was whooping that ass, So there's a guy that can come in and play right away and play really well, I think.
It's Dave and I were talking about this after the draft, and with all due respect to guards, Mark, of course, the idea that your player, your overall number one selection for your team, number 18 overall, is a guard, and there's that level of excitement about a guard, tells you how bad things were with the O-line. Because, Dave talks about how his coaches back in the day would be like, I could go get any bum off the highway to play guard, get me a tackle.
That was your coach.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that was my coach.
So it's not a position that generates a lot of enthusiasm or excitement. They're necessary, obviously, and crucial, as we've come to learn. But it just speaks to where this line is or was. We'll see where it is under Kubiak. But just how much of a difference it makes in the opinions and in the hearts of fans. You drafted a guard. You did what we thought you should do, because the Seahawks are generally the team that would take the left turn. When you think they need a guard, they'll go draft a linebacker.
Yeah, I think one of the things that's interesting about that, you look at the last few off seasons with Trace Smith and and the guys, Robert Hunt that left Miami and signed a $100 million deal to the Carolina Panthers. Like, guards have been getting paid, and I mean paid handsomely. Yeah. And I think part of the whole concept is, one, a lot of the NFL is a quick passing game. It's really morphed in from the college game, right? So it's all this quick 3-step out of gun. You got to have a strong pocket. You got to have a pocket that doesn't get pushed in the lap of the quarterback. And the guy's got to be able to step up, get away from those edge rushers who are the best, and find avenues to throw the ball and to manipulate the pocket inside. And if you don't have guys that can stand up and just hold back that pass rush and not get that pocket collapse, well, then you're in deep trouble. And so I think you've seen the value based on free agency of how the NFL actually feels about guards and centers here in recent years. So, that's one of those situations where I think, you always talk about some of the trends and some of the things that happen in the NFL. I think that's one of the trends that I've noticed the last couple of years is, we have got to have strength in the pocket. And if you don't, your quarterback is never comfortable. You can look at the Super Bowl. Look what happened to Patrick Mahomes in the Super Bowl against the Eagles. I mean, they got shoved around in the pocket, and Mahomes had no escape lanes, no escape ability, and obviously they got drubbed in that game.
Hey, Mark, we were just talking about, I'm kind of the thinking that if you have 3, if you have, because we were talking about Abraham Lucas, your right tackle, Charles Cross your left tackle. You get Gray Zabel, put him in right away, of course. Like at pick number 18, he's starting, right?
Uh-huh.
Day
Yeah.
one. Yeah. So, how much can you make up for that for the other two guys? If you have, what's like the minimum number of really good solid players, starters that you need to have on your O-line?
Yeah, I mean, I think that one, you have to understand that most guys or most teams are constructed with edge presence, right? So they've got an edge that can really play. And then ultimately, if you flip it on the defensive side, the guys who can't really rush the passer, the guys who are just space eaters and really, try to stop the run, those guys are a lot of your defensive tackles. There's very few defensive tackles that are real threats when it comes to pass rush, right? So I think that ultimately, if you've got a couple of guys that you're really confident in, a couple of guys that you can leave one on one in critical situations, and then you can get help to the other guys, that puts you in a pretty good situation. So, yeah, you've got three guys that you feel like you're going to be solid, are way above average, and you've got a couple of guys that are okay or serviceable. You can do things. You can do things exceptionally well. And then if you've got a coach that really understands what the issues are, what the problems are, you can protect an offensive line by the way you call plays as well. So um, all those things are important. And I know. Clint Kubiak who certainly understands that, certainly has been coached that way, growing up and, his father and guys that you and I played with, Dave. Um, so they know that they understand the importance of that and the importance of kind of helping that group out with the way you call plays. So yeah, I think that all those things are really true.
Coming out of this draft, Mark, the player that's generated the most conversation has been Jalen Milroe. I think there's just a
Yeah.
curiosity about, hey, could he be the next Russell? He's a third-round quarterback, just like Russell was in a year that they signed a free agent. Russell's year, it was Matt Flynn that they signed. He wins the starting job instead. This year, they signed Sam Darnold. They draft Milroe in the third round. Now, as Dave pointed out, Russell was a much more accomplished passer at that point than Milroe is.
Mhm.
When you see Milroe, and I don't know how much you've had a chance to watch him at the college level, but is he a guy you look at and say, yeah, he could definitely be something? He could be a franchise quarterback, or is he somebody you look at and go, yeah, he's an athlete, but I'm not seeing it?
Yeah, at this point, I would think he's an athlete that obviously, you can get better at anything, right? You can grow into that role. But part of growing into that role is an offensive coordinator that's willing to put you in that role, that's willing to alter his offense to do the things that you do well. Milrow is an unbelievable athlete, as you guys know. I mean, that dude can run, that dude can threaten the edge. So if you're going to have that guy play for you, you've got to adjust accordingly the way you want to run your offense. So you're going to have to, have the quarterback run game is going to have to be a part of it, where you're going to design QB runs. You're also going to have the zone read stuff, where you're flagging that defensive end. And if he pinches down, the quarterback's keeping it. If he plays, the surf technique and stays out on the edge, then you hand it off on the dive, like all those things. Then the RPO game, where you're reading that second level defender, be it a linebacker or be it a safety. And if you can get that guy to suck up and bite, you throw the glance route behind him. If he doesn't, you hand the ball off. So all these little aspects, you're going to have to major in that stuff, which would be, a big change of what Clint Kubiak has done throughout his career. And everybody does a little bit of that stuff, but you really have to start to major in that stuff. And it's kind of like the same thing the Jets are going to go through with Justin Fields, or Chicago went through with Justin Fields, and he's gotten better and better and better. But like the first time I ever did a game of Justin Fields, watching the film was like my golf game. Like there were times where I was watching Justin Fields as a young player going, "Are you sure you're right-handed?" Are you like it was that bad. But then all of a sudden, it was like my golf game where I'd shank 14 drives, and all of a sudden I'd stand up there and pipe one 325 right down the middle. And you're like, oh my God, if I could just do that every time. And you would see those throws from Justin Fields that would just wow you, like, whoa, that was upper echelon. That was like elite level throw. And so, you got to mesh that together with his run stuff because he's such a threat doing that. And that's kind of how I see Milroe. You're going to have to bring him along that way, kind of like they brought Lamar along in Baltimore. And, it was funny because I did Joe Flacco's first game back when he was eligible to play again, and they decided to go with Lamar, when Lamar had come in and played. And everybody was asking Joe Flacco, like, have you helped the young kid? Like, have you talked to the young kid? Have you helped him? And Joe was like, what am I going to tell him? Like what? Like
Yeah.
I can't do anything that guy does. Our offense is not it's nothing I know. I don't know read zone game. I'm a drop back guy. Like how's that going to help him? And so they decided to go in that direction. And every year they just put a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more, changed it up, and obviously we see what he has developed into.
Hey, Mark, we're going to hear from Bruce Feldman later on, and he was talking about Nick Emmanwori being kind of I know you got a chance to look at him. I'm kind of hesitant to compare him to Cam Chancellor just because I feel like that's a big load to put on him, But
Right.
but what'd you see?
That's like, okay, so you said that, and I was watching him today, and I'm like, gosh, he's long, he's lean, like he runs, he goes, and I said to myself, kind of reminds me of Cam Chancellor. And then I was like, I can't say that on there. Like, I mean, I'm going to look like an idiot. Like, you want to talk about pressure, right?
Yeah.
Because Cam was such a superstar. He's such a great player and so much fun to watch. But he did have that look, that lengthy, just kind of his gait, like everything just kind of reminded me of Cam. So, I'm not trying to say he's going to be that kind of player, but
Right.
boy, if he's half a Cam Chancellor, man, you stole one in what, the third round?
Second, I think he was a pick number 35.
Okay.
They traded up to get him, and actually they were talking about taking him in the first round. But yeah, I mean I think his ball
Oh,
skills.
the tight end is the guy you took in the third round. That's right.
Yeah, I mean that guy's also ridiculous, like 6'5", 250, and runs like
Royal.
a 4.4 40 or something like that. So yeah, but 40. Nobody ever ran a 40. Nobody got timed on the field. You don't get a first down for a 40. Nothing like that.
No.
We don't need
You know who runs? You know who runs a real fast 40?
Who?
The tight end you guys got right now. What's his name that came from Denver?
Oh,
Noah
Noah
Fant.
Fant.
Yeah, I'm still waiting for him to break his first tackle. Let me know if he ever breaks a tackle, guys. Please let me know. Like, put it. It should be like one of those on the. Your phone gets the ESPN alert. Da 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 da. Breaking news.
All
Noah
right.
Fant broke a tackle.
We'll do it.
So
We'll do it.
Yeah.
I'm still laughing about, are you sure you're right-handed?
That's why we have you on, pal.
Yeah. Right.
Well, you love us because we laugh at all your jokes. No matter how many
Yes.
times we've heard
He's
it.
a funny guy. Hey, what just the draft overall? What was your takeaway? What stood out to you? I mean, no, Shedeur Sanders was the big story, obviously, and him falling to the 5th round. I don't know what your expectations were of him going in, but what stood out to you beyond that?
Well, I mean, nothing really. That was the talk. I mean, absolutely zero buzz for Cam Ward. And when I went and looked at film on Cam Ward, I thought Cam was really good. Obviously, NIL. He played for like the first school he went to was like some like Blind Sisters of the Immaculate Reception or something. And I'm like, well, I never even heard of this school. And then he went to Washington State because he couldn't get into Idaho. So then I thought maybe he's not that smart. And then ultimately he ends up, for a year in Miami. But I like big time arm talent, but more importantly to me, really good at changing trajectory of the ball, knowing when to take some off. Like I thought he was really impressive and really good, not straight away 40 speed, but really good movement skills and throwing on the run. So I really liked him. The Shedeur thing just goes to show you, Shedeur is very accurate. I helped up at CU this last spring. And so he's incredibly accurate. Like he holds the ball too long, but part of the reason he's holding the ball too long is probably I'm waiting for Travis Hunter to get open because Travis Hunter is that much of a freak show, and he is. He's truly an unbelievable kid. But it just goes to show you that the NFL, if you don't have elite level kind of next generation skills, like athletic skills, you damn well better ace all the interviews and all the meetings. And when you come into a meeting and act like you're just disinterested, or they put a mistake purposely in the playbook for you. So like think about how easy it would be to throw in, like, label something trips right and you draw up a trips left formation, and the quarterback not like I would catch it, right? Like anybody who knows football would catch it. And if you don't mention it or you don't say anything about it, then that's on you. And those are the things that happened. And obviously, if you don't have generational talent, guess what? You're not getting drafted in the first round. So hopefully, it's a valuable learning lesson for the kid. He's going to get an opportunity in Cleveland. But the other thing is, like, Travis Hunter is a legit kid, and I keep thinking to myself, they say, hey, one side of the ball or the other side of the ball. I keep thinking, and I know people have said he's, like top corner, one of the top corners in the draft, but I think that kid is an elite talent, ball skills wise, like at the wide receiver position. And I think that's where he ends up starting and maybe playing some, defensive back, some nickel back or something of that nature. I could be completely wrong. They could go the exact opposite way, but I think he's just a difference maker at the receiver position.
Mark, so you said you helped out at Colorado, right? So
Yeah.
you have some relationship with Deion. Did
Yeah.
you know him from when you were in the league? And just kind of tell us how, I mean, there were people that were saying, nobody wants to draft his kid because then he's going to come along with him and, be calling in with suggestions and things like that. So
Right.
tell us that side of the story.
No, like Dion. Dion is like my experience with Dion. It goes back to when we were playing in the league and we played in the Pro Bowl together, and like so I've known Dion for a long time, and my experience with Dion, a lot of people he rubs the wrong way, and I get it. It's one of those things. Don't let what does he say all the time? Like don't let my confidence offend your insecurities, like that's Dion, but ultimately the relational part of the relational part of Dion with those kids is special, and it's all those kids, and he holds them accountable and all those things. And yeah, there's a lot of flamboyant nature to the program and all that kind of stuff, but he's done a really good job of investing in those kids' life, and I really respect the way he operates just as kind of a parental figure and as a head coach. So he does a really good job with that. And so I just don't look at Dion as a guy that's going to call, like, he knows Shadur's got to go out there and kind of um, blaze his own path, and he's going to have to go out there, and there's nothing that Dion can do for him. And it's not like Dion's got plenty of other things to occupy him with CU football. I just think that that's one of those overblown things. I think the bottom line is Shadur doesn't have generational skill sets when it comes to athleticism, and then he really failed the pre-draft process, and henceforth the reason he's a fifth rounder. But I still believe he'll get an opportunity, and we'll see what he makes of it.
Mark, it's always awesome to catch up with you, man. I know you got the Stinkin' Truth podcast out there, which I see all over your Twitter page. The one thing that's missing from your Twitter page is an argument with a fan base. That's some of the best stuff on Twitter. I haven't seen that in a little bit.
Yeah, I've been, like I told you, I've been knee deep in NBA basketball, which is just killing me. So it is, just trying to watch it, and
Just no time for you to be a pest and piss people off.
Right.
It's some of the best reading there is, though, when he starts going back and forth with the Chiefs fans or Bengals fans. Mark answers just about everybody with a snarky remark, and then they often don't reply. That's where it ends.
Having been Mark's teammate, that's the least surprising thing that I would expect out of him.
Well, we look look forward to football season when you get back into it with another fan base. I can't wait to see who it is. So check out the Stinkin' Truth podcast. Up until
I'll
then,
do a little trolling. I'll do a little trolling between now and then. See who I can get. I'll put a little big fish hook out there and see which NFL fan base I can catch.
Yeah. Well, check out the podcast, The Stinkin' Truth, and follow Mark on Twitter because, again, once he gets into it with a fan base, it's glorious. Mark, we appreciate you, my friend. Thanks so much for doing this.
Be well, guys. Take care.
Thanks, buddy.